Pokemon Go dropped in 2016, and when the game dropped, trainers flooded the App Store. Right from the start, we knew it was going to be a big game. Over the years, we had plenty of apps trying to replicate Pokemon Go's success. Obviously, Niantic's other apps like Wizard Unite, Ingress, and even Purdyot, their new game, however you call it, and even some off-brand games like Draconius Go and Follow JC Go. However, none of these were able to take the market share that Pokemon Go took right from the start. Pokemon Go pretty much gained all the market share in the mobile GPS gaming industry, that's what I'm gonna call it, and became what some might call a monopoly. Now, some of y'all might not know what a monopoly is, so let me give you the definition. The exclusive possession or control of the supply or trade in a commodity or service. There is no other close substitute to the product or service that a certain company is giving. Does that sound familiar? What it pretty much means is that one company dominates the market, and there's no other company that really could compete with this and try to grab back market share or customers from the other. Sometimes it's just legally that's the case in which no company can sell, or sometimes it just becomes forced with one company getting way too big. Google is a great example of a monopoly because they pretty much dominate the market for a search engine. So do you see what I mean? Pokemon Go has pretty much dominated the GPS mobile gaming market, and there's nothing that's ever really gonna top it. Buying the rights to the Pokemon franchise probably helped it out a lot because, you can't really beat that. Now, this is not to say there's no other games that are trying to compete with Pokemon Go, but the fact is none of them have done what Pokemon Go has done, which is to take our adventures as youths and bring them into the real world. You see, for the past little bit, I've been trying to think about why Pokemon Go works so well, and it's because of the Pokemon formula. In all the other Pokemon games, you start as a character and you go on this adventure through this region, discovering Pokemon, catching Pokemon, battling trainers. Pokemon Go is exactly that, but it actually makes you the main character. You and your life is the main character going on adventures, finding Pokemon in the wild, battling in gyms, etc., etc. It is literally a perfect format translation from the main series games all the way into Pokemon Go, and it just makes that connection seamless and so attractive to play this mobile GPS game, unlike any other game that just can't really make that translation since it doesn't make a lot of sense. Here, let me give you an example. You see, so Niantic is coming out with a new AR game, one based on Marvel characters. And it brings me back to this point in which that translation doesn't make any sense. Marvel superheroes are not going on adventures, catching or whatever, or moving around the world based on your phone location. And that game, I just don't think is gonna work as a copycat or, a version of Pokemon Go, because that translation just doesn't make any sense. What's the point of all this though, Dax? What are you trying to say? Well, we have some pros and we have some cons of Pokemon Go being a monopoly. Let me explain. Number one, the cons. A monopoly will dominate the market space, which means there's gonna be very little innovation because there's no pressure to innovate. Look at YouTube and TikTok right now. TikTok was doing so well, YouTube throwing shorts, and then TikTok's trying to innovate, taking things from Be Real, and the features are just going back and forth in which there's a lot of pressure to innovate. It's pretty much the concept of the race to the moon. If you don't know what this is, I think it was like two countries. I know it was US and another country. I'll be honest, I'm not the most knowledgeable on it. But they were both racing to the moon, and technology advanced so fast because everyone wanted to be the first person to land on the moon. Pokemon Go doesn't have that. There's no game pushing it, competing it, trying to be better than it, in which Pokemon Go has to change its ways to try to, take back market share. Since Pokemon Go owns all of the market share, this means that they're not in a lot of pressure to also make the game experience better for anybody. That's why Pokemon Go is able to get away with so many things that, the community always hates. But people, where are you gonna go? There's no other game similar to Pokemon Go. There's no competition at all. They pretty much have us in a vice grip because, there's nowhere for us to run, and, this is the only game that we can really play. So that leads us to pros. What are some pros of Pokemon Go being a monopoly? And honestly, there's not a lot of them. Most of the pros you get from being in a monopoly are actually pros for the company, not pros for the community. The only really thing we have is, I guess, stable prices, in which prices are not going to be jumping up and down for Pokecoins because there's not, a competitive, person to fight with that for. Other than that, the only other pro is Niantic makes a buttload of cash, and what they do with that cash is going to be up to them. Obviously, that could lead into, more features for us and more development to improve the game, but, that is not in our control. And I want you guys to remember that line, not in our control. Unfortunately, I see so many people online always complaining about Niantic did this, Niantic did that, it's a bad decision. Although I agree most of the time, it's not in our control, and this is a video game. We need to enjoy it. Yes, potentially down the line, we could have a Heroes Niantic Part 2 and try to change some things, but realistically, it's very tough to pull those off, and the chance of it actually happening is pretty low. So the best thing we can do right now is enjoy the game. Enjoy Pokemon Go as much as you can. This is a beautiful game. It's very unique. It, motivates you to go outside. There's really no other game like it. The whole reason I'm making this video is because of that. So enjoy it while you can, but don't feel held down by the monopoly. If you don't enjoy Pokemon Go anymore, don't feel forced to keep playing because there's no other alternative. What I would do is I would probably either take a break or completely quit from the game and try a different type of game. Maybe go to, at-home gaming, console gaming, all that stuff, because there's a lot of games out there that are just as great as Pokemon Go, if not better, for you. Yes, gaming is a personal preference, remember. Just because you like Pokemon Go doesn't mean there's not any other games out there for you that you could potentially play if Pokemon Go is sucking up too much of your time, or, you don't enjoy the game anymore. So although I don't see Pokemon Go changing anytime soon, you gotta remember, we are in control of our lives, we are in control of our decisions, so you could say we're also monopolies. Okay guys, I'm gonna swing on my swing. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.